Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins. At E3 2014, we just had our first demo of the show. We saw Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. You know, that's the one that kind of looks like Assassin's Creed, but then kind of looks like Batman Arkham. In our demo, we were taken behind enemy lines to an area called Nirn. Now, because it's in Mordor, you might expect it to be kind of desolated, but actually it's really green and lush, and that's because it's a farming area that Sauron is using to fuel his war machine. We had a choice of 5 different war chiefs to hunt down and assassinate, and each war chief has a unique set of strengths, so no 2 enemies can be approached the same way. That's a point for replayability, which the developers are pushing hard. In our demo, the war chief we picked, mostly because he had a red flaming helmet, had 3 bodyguards, and we opted to attack one of those before taking him on in order to make it easier on ourselves later. As we were hunting down the bodyguard, we saw some great examples of the Wraith abilities, like shooting arrows, dominating enemies to convert them to assist us, and also punching the ground to knock enemies back, even though the ground itself did nothing to us. Some of the enemies flee, but you can come across them later on. They'll remember the fight, they'll bring it up again. There was one guy that we pushed into a fire, and had he lived, he would have had the scars from it, but he didn't live. So there we were, 1 bodyguard down, and we decided to take on the war chief. On our way to find the war chief, we figured out you can dominate local wildlife and, ride them. We dominated this lion-like animal called a Caragor, and we rode him around a while before sticking him on enemies while we went to lure the war chief out. We had to set a whole bunch of his buddies on fire to get him out, and then he brought his 2 bodyguards, and it turns out that he was a little bit stronger than us, turned us into a pincushion, and we died. But since Talion doesn't stay dead, it could be worse. Some of the enemies got promoted, and we'll just come back later on and have to deal with the consequences of that. That's it for now, but we'll be here at E3 all week checking out games, letting you know what we see and what we think. To make sure you get all the big information, click like and subscribe, and we'll keep you in the know.